Hello everyone, it is my pleasure to greet all the fans who are watching us in North Central America and the Caribbean, as well as around the world. My name is Pedro Velázquez and I am the head of national competitions at Concacaf. We're here today to conduct at the Concacaf headquarters in Miami the official draw of the 2022 Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship. This edition of the tournament will be played in two stages, beginning with the 2021 Concacaf Women's Under-17 Qualifiers and followed by the 2022 Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship. In total, 32 Concacaf member associations will compete in the tournament that will determine the three Concacaf representatives at the 2022 FIFA Women's Under-17 World Cup to take place in India. The qualifier stage will consist of the lowest 16 ranked participating member associations in the Concacaf Women's Under-17 ranking. A total of 16 teams will be divided into 4 groups of 4 teams each. After round-robin play, the winner of each group will advance directly to the round of 16 in the championship, joining the top-ranked 16 teams. The Concacaf Women's Under-17 ranking as of July 2019 has been used to determine in which stage each team will participate. The final championship will kick off with a group stage. In a few minutes, we will divide the 16 participating teams in the qualifier stage into 4 groups of 4 teams. After round-robin play, the top 3 finishers in each group will advance to the round of 16 in the championship. The group stage draw for the Women's Under-17 qualifiers will be conducted using a single blind system involving 4 pots. Pot 1 will contain the names of the highest ranked teams in the qualifiers: Honduras, Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Pot 2 will contain the names of the next 4 teams in the ranking for the qualifiers: St. Lucia, Curaçao, Dominica, and the Cayman Islands. Pot 3 will contain the names of the next 4 teams in the ranking: USVI, Anguilla, Guyana, and Belize. And Pot 4 will contain the names of the last 4 teams in the ranking: Suriname, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Guadeloupe, and Turks and Caicos Islands. The draw will begin with a team from Pot 1, Honduras, Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis, to draw into A1, B1, C1, and D1. We will continue with Pot 2. The first team drawn will be placed in Group A, position 2, followed by the second team in position B2, the third team in C2, and the fourth team in D2. The same procedure will be followed for Pot 3 and Pot 4, distributing the teams in position 3 or 4 of each group respectively. Now that we know the competition format and draw procedures, let's begin. St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis will take position A1 to get the next sphere to determine the group B, position 1, which will be Barbados. Okay. Moving along with group C to determine position 1, Honduras. So Honduras will be in group C, position 1. And lastly, the last sphere of Pot 1 will go to group D, Antigua and Barbuda. So that concludes Pot 1. We move along with drawing the position 2 of group A, Team Dominica. The next sphere will determine the team in Group B, position 2, Curaçao. And the next sphere, position 2 of Group C, the Cayman Islands. Okay. The last sphere will be the last team that will go to Group D together with Antigua and Barbuda, St. Lucia. So that will complete all teams on Pod 2. Now we move along to Pod 3, starting with the first sphere to be seated in Group A, USVI. USVI will join St. Kitts and Nevis and Dominica in Group A. And this next sphere will be drawn in Group B, Belize. So Belize, Barbados, and Curacao in Group B. The next sphere will join Honduras and Cayman Islands in Group C, Position 3, Anguilla. To finish with Pod 3, the last sphere, and complete Group D with Antigua and Barbuda and St. Lucia, Guyana. Okay, we move now to the last spot to determine all teams in position 4 for each of the groups. We'll start with Group A, and Suriname will join St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, and USVI in Group A. So that concludes the first group of the qualifiers. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been drawn in Group B. So that concludes Group B with Barbados, Curacao, Belize, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The next sphere will be drawn in Group C, Turks and Caicos Islands. So that concludes Group C. And the last sphere will complete this qualifier draw, and Group D, Team Guadeloupe. Okay. There you have it. Let's quickly review the qualifying stage groups. We start with Group A, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, USVI, and Suriname. Group B, Barbados, Curacao, Belize, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Group C, Honduras, Cayman Islands, Anguilla, Turks and Caicos Islands. And lastly, Group D, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Lucia, Guyana, and Guadeloupe. Thank you for joining us for the Concacaf Women's Under-17 Qualifiers Draw. Make sure to follow the competition on Concacaf websites, official app, and social media platforms.